Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of your faithful trip. It started in the firmament, and then we all got tricked. Life was great when we were young, with all the things we believed. Then it all got hard, unbearable, and we know we're being deceived. Forgotten, ignored, secret, and hidden. Topics that talk about how water is knowledge. Now drink from the fountain. Let's pour some on you now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plain Mundane Show. This is Alex. Today, we're going to talk about a video that was posted about 3 days ago by one of my favorite channels that I'm subscribed to, and it's called Shaking My Head Productions. This guy puts out all kinds of awesome information about our day, religion, cosmology, and things that we want to seek truth on. But here's a video that he put up. And the first part you're going to hear here, the first narration is from William Cooper. If you look up the life of William Cooper, he knew all of these things that we're talking about today, and it was over 20 years ago, I believe, that he was murdered in his front yard because he had a radio station and he was starting to talk about this stuff on the radio waves, and they didn't like that. And he was also traveling around and giving speeches and talking about exactly what everyone on YouTube is talking. This was before social media, and he paid the price, you know. God rest his soul. So I want you to watch this first part, then I'm going to skip through it and show you different parts of it, and that will be my video today. So please enjoy this. You ready? Here's the first part. This is William Cooper talking.
Recorded in his book Legions of Satan, written in 1781, that General Cornwallis revealed to General Washington that a holy war will now begin on America. And when it is ended, America will supposedly be the citadel of freedom, but her millions will unknowingly be the loyal subjects of the crown. Cornwallis went on to explain what would seem to be a self-contradiction, and he said this, quote, "Your churches will be used to teach the Jews' religion, and in less than 200 years, the whole nation will be working for divine world government. That government that they believe to be divine will be the British Empire. All religions will be permeated with Judaism without even being noticed by the masses, and they will all be under the invisible all-seeing eye of the grand architect of Freemasonry." And indeed, George Washington himself, ladies and gentlemen, was a Freemason, and he gave back through false religion what he had won with his army. This divine world government that Cornwallis spoke of was the religion of the New World Order. And the Jewish religion that Cornwallis was talking about is not the religion that most Jews in this world practice, but a new, secular, humanistic view that came out of the Lodge of the Mysteries, promoted under international Zionism and the concept of British Israelism. It is the tenet that the Anglo-Aryan race are the true Israelites, and because of that, their royal family, being descended from the house of David, in a direct line in a relationship to Jesus Christ himself, have the divine right to rule. One of the myths that are propounded, and you will see more and more of it, is that Jesus did not die on the cross, but entered into a sexual relationship which may have included marriage with Mary of Magdalene, and founded the Merovingian bloodline of kings which began the European dynasties, and this is passed on in secret, father to son and mother to daughter, even unto this day.
Guys, if you can hear me, look at these pictures. If you buy your own telescope and look at these planets, it will look like what they show here. And you'll see the difference between what you find in your own telescope and the CGI that is presented from the official.
Common tongue, it says, one ring to rule them all, one ring to fight them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness find them. This is the one ring.
Alright, so Saturn is the sixth planet from the sun, and it is also known as Satan. So all the planets, they had their own little, that's why they're all named after false gods. So Saturn itself deals actually with Satan. And Satan, because of how clever he is, has decided that he'll do little things like the seventh day is the Sabbath. And so he named that day Saturn Day, so that everybody is actually giving this day over to God. They're resting, and then slowly it looks like that they're actually serving Satan, for lack of a better term. So anyway, little interesting little things about this, and not only is it the sixth planet, but in the Voyager mission, they noticed that on the North Pole there happened to be this interesting hexagon, and they have no idea why that's there. But over the years, people that worshipped Saturn worshipped essentially the hex. So when you talk about putting a hex on somebody, that's where this comes from. Not only that, but it also embodies the cube. So on the right here, we see this is actually a cube on its side, facing you. So that is, the cube has 6 sides, 6 planet, the number of man is 6, 666, etc., and so forth. And so that's how all this really starts to tie in, even down to little things like, they've changed, Jesus' birthday to be December 25th. What was December 25th? Saturnalia, where they would worship Saturn and do orgies and all kinds of crazy stuff, reversal rolls. It was like their favorite holiday. But yeah, this all goes back to, you have one true God, and then you have Satan and his many different false gods. Doesn't care which one you pick, just pick one of them. Just don't follow the truth. Interestingly, if you take a cube and you unravel it, you can actually have a cross. And there was actually, once you start to study the occult, there was a lot more going on. We see the God side of it, but on the occult side of it, the cube being unfolded represented the cross, and Satan was doing this to gain power over God by having him crucified on a cross. So interestingly, that whole plan backfired. If you read ahead, we win. And you'll see a little bit more why this was so important, because you can't go anywhere without getting away from Saturn worship. So as I said, it's embodied by the cube. So here are cubes, black cubes, that are actually all over the world. These are just a few. I think this one's in Santa Ana, California, and some of these, I guess that was in Denmark, or at least the website. But anyway, the black cube represents Saturn. Even the ancients, the original.
If you can hear me, there's also a black cube in the center of the city of Venice. When I went to Italy and went to Venice.
And there is some speculation that Saturn may have glowed at one point or something like that. I don't know about all that. There's really no way for us to prove any of this
Saturn
stuff.
is a brown dwarf.
But
It's made of gas.
Things like that Saturn had rings. Those weren't discovered until we started getting telescope technology. So Saturn is known as the Lord of the Rings, where we get certain traditions such as, say, a wedding band, the Lord of the Rings. But also religions themselves worship the the black cube. So here's a picture of actually the two other religions out there, where we have Islam and their black cube. This is actually mentioned in Acts chapter 18 or 13, where it talks about Artemis and her stone that fell from heaven. It all comes back and wraps up into...
Isn't Artemis the name of a new NASA mission?
And of course, there's I think a Bible verse that says to have God's word on your head, and so they have these little black boxes they put on there. But it's all little things.
That's called the tefillin. They also strap it to their wrist, their forehead and their wrist.
Where our logos and stuff embody Saturn itself.
The Nike swoosh is a Saturn ring.
Kind of throwing in the logo, like in the Nike swoosh or whatnot, or if it's the whole thing. Target is a Saturn from above, or the black cube that you see. These are just a few. I couldn't find as many as I wanted, but the cube itself represents Saturn. Okay, so interestingly, one way that if you've read the story about Elijah, there was a Phoenician queen named Jezebel. Jezebel brought in the worship of Asheroth and Baal. So you'll hear me talk about Baal worship constantly, because it really comes down to either you're worshiping Yeshua or you're worshiping Baal. But when we're dealing with this, it's like, how could you just bring in all this worship? And it really came down to people were just simply deceived. After all, God, his name is one of his titles is Elohim. And so there was a pagan god named El. And
Elohim is a plural word.
Had Asheroth.
Words that end in I-M are plural, just like cherubim,
There's always these counterfeits
Elohim.
that Satan does. So when you do word studies, you see that we have the god of El, where we get the, Elit, or elect. It means rising up. It means power. So we're going to elect a new president, or we're going to get on an elevator and be taken up, or an elder in a church.
Prince sang about an elevator, and he died in an elevator.
Where we get power from. Bethel was a good example of how it just...
I was an elder in the
because
Mormon church.
Bethel means house of God. So anyway, you should definitely look into words. Sometimes the words that we use are not the words that you think that we're actually using. And I'll give you a couple more examples towards the end of this video.
Electricity is the negative side of Tesla's alternator.
When we deal with the hexagon and all this stuff, you'll see this actually creeping into churches. There's a local church here that went to a external pagan marketing company to rebrand themselves, and of course, how did they rebrand them? Well, their name was Cornerstone Church, so of course they had to give them something that was more of a stone-like thing, but they have no idea.
Do you see their Mercedes logo there with the 3 lines from the center of the cube in 2 dimensions?
Right behind it, just complete, and this is a big, rich Laodicean church. This is the church I actually went to and filled out the Connect card. Figured maybe somebody would call me and I could talk about Revelation 12, but neither here nor there. Oh, goody. I have mail. Sorry. But let's move on, shall we? So once you start to realize that all the symbolisms, you start to see, when you graduate from college, that's why you wear a black robe and you wear this funny little hat. And that hat is actually the capstone of the cube. It's a square. And so this actually goes back to the cult of Saturn, which we actually got out of the Catholic Church. But, I was sitting there with a friend, and she's against churches and everything. And I said, we're in a church service. I said, we're wearing robes. They're speaking Latin up there. I graduated with honors, so you had, all the right titles and privileges. If you ever read your diploma, it's very Catholic. And of course, judges early on in this country did not wear black robes. They wear them now because it's a symbol of power, and it goes back to the cult of Saturn. But even if we look at some of this other stuff that's going on, like you've got the Pope here wearing, that's his Saturn hat. And then, of course, these robes looks very similar to the church service of a college graduation. So I know some people have heard me say that my wife is a heathen, and I'm going to point out one of the reasons why. And I've told her about this, and it's just chipping away day by day because she was raised in the world 45 years, and it hasn't been until recently that she actually started believing that there was a God. But if we take a look, here she is in her Baal worship, Saturn worship robes, so priest. So don't let college fool you. College is the
Can I mention how all of these planets and luminaries look like there's water between us? It looks like you're laying on the bottom of a pool with the mask on, looking up through the surface of the water. There's water between us and those things. Doesn't look at all like the NASA pictures, does it? Buy your own telescope. Okay, guys, this channel I'm going to show you now is called Spy Kitten TV.
I'd like to share a very important topic with you all about Christmas and its satanic and Saturnian or Saturn connections. So first of all, let's begin by truly understanding that December 25th is not actually Jesus Christ's birthday, and that the Bible does not even mention December 25th at all. The elites are simply using December 25th as a day to spread the worship of Saturn throughout the whole wide world. I mean, it is the elites who run this world today anyway. So in fact, we have all unknowingly participated in Saturn worship for thousands and thousands of years. The Saturnian cult has never ever stopped, and its rites are still present to this very day. Saturn is now dubbed as the Lord of the Rings, and it is the reason why we exchange rings at weddings or put halos on the heads of godly people, for example. So let's cut to the chase and hop on into it from the very, very beginning. Since ancient times, sages gazed at the stars and the planets while equating planets to gods. For example, we have the planet Neptune linked to the god Poseidon, Venus linked to Aphrodite, Mars linked to Ares, Saturn linked to Chronos, and etc. Again and again, the ancients asserted a claim that could only appear maddening and preposterous to us in our modern times. The ancient people declared that the distant planets and stars were the gods of their times. And today, we're specifically going to be talking about Saturn. So the ancients claimed that Saturn is so active in the cosmos.
That's the Toyota logo.
It's regarded by all of mankind as the supreme god and the creator, who is also known as El. And astronomers estimated that the planet Saturn exerted the greatest influence upon all the movements of the celestial bodies in our solar system. And in the very beginning, Saturn ejected filaments in all directions, and that the solar system became illuminated as if by hundreds and hundreds of suns. Hence, why the ancients also worshipped Saturn, or El, as the very first sun.
Oh, I stopped it on a nice frame. Look at all of these corporate logos that are incorporating these Saturnian principles. All right, do you see the rings, the swooshes, the cubes, the pyramids? It's no coincidence, folks. In order to get to one of these companies and be in top management, you have to put these into effect in your company. I paused this video for a second, and I want to interrupt here and tell you, if you look physically at the planet Saturn, what is it made of? It's a ball of gases. It's not even a physical solid object. It's gas. It's a burnt sun. It's what we call a brown dwarf. And the rings around it are still being made. There are vehicles in those rings, just like we see the lines in the sky above our plane here. There are still rings being made around Saturn today that can be observed. And it looks like little vehicles in those rings moving around making new clouds. The moons around Saturn seem to be where these beings came from. They didn't come from the ball of gas that's in the center of the ring we call Saturn, where the cube is the North Pole. Do you know what is the South Pole of Saturn? It's an eye. It's a one eye. I'm not making this stuff up. We're going to see it. All right? Saturn is a brown dwarf. It is the black sun. It's a burnt out sun. You know, if we were at one time binary with two suns, one of them burnt out. And these beings that lived on the moons around it came here. And that's where you get the missing link between Cro-Magnon and suddenly 11,000, 12,000 years ago, recorded history with human beings, with the cerebral cortex and language and math and using written language in the Phoenicians. Okay, the Phoenicians go by other names today. All right, let me turn it back on.
And as strange as it may seem, as difficult as it may be to comprehend, the ancient sun god is not the body we call sun today. In fact, early astronomical traditions identify this first sun, or best sun, as the planet Saturn.
Doesn't that look like the Target logo? Even the Mayan calendar. By the way, the Walmart logo is a six-sided cube, if you make it three-dimensional.
In fact, Saturn is esoterically associated with a man's limitations, restrictions, death, and decay. Saturn has also throughout the ages collected various names from different parts of the world and in different languages. But in essence, the ancients have all been worshipping the same deity unknowingly. So if you take a look here at this picture, you can see that the god of Saturn is always and always represented by a very, very old man with a long beard, a sickle, and an hourglass throughout most ancient religions. And Saturn has always also been considered the god of all gods and the most powerful deity no matter which civilizations we look at. Guys, Saturn is El, and this is very important to note. What makes Saturn's identity stand out that much more is the degree to which one nation after another repeated this same L-Saturn connection. So we could see that the Romans called him Saturnus, the
I had to pause this. I just made a video about Pan, who is Apollo, and we have an Apollo program. We just celebrated 50 years of Apollo in a program where they ditch rockets in the ocean and pretend they're going to the ISS and that they went to the moon. But who do you think runs the entire program? Saturn, who on this earth can be also known as Apollo or Pan. It's the god of the bottomless pit. But in the planetary function in the Greek names, it's the most powerful god of all of them, which could also be known as the sun god, but it's not the sun you're thinking of. It's the black sun. It's the burnt out sun. It's the brown dwarf with the rings around it. It's Saturn.
So we could see that the Romans called him Saturnus.
That's where the Statue of Liberty got
Pagans
the thorns
called
around the
him
crown.
Pan, while popular Greek traditions identified Saturn as Chronos, the god of all Greek gods, who ruled over the North Pole, had a bad habit of eating all of his children, and who was also the ruler of time. Time being the main factor inevitably leading to the death of us mortals. You could also say that this is where the legend of All-Father Time came from, and that traditional representations of the Grim Reaper originate from the attributes of the same god of Saturn as well. So we could find many instances of this black cube across the whole world. From the Santa Ana Science Museum, to the Israeli flag, to the black cube of Mecca in Saudi Arabia, to the Kabbalistic tree of life, to every state company logos, and to everything else in between and under the sun. Now, let's get to a very important and one of the most eye-opening connections of this whole video, which has to do with Jesus Christ and Christmas. So here you could see on this picture that the cube actually opens up into a cruciform or a cross shape to reveal hidden symbology. And this is very important to know, my brothers and sisters. As we all know, Jesus Christ was crucified on the cross by the Romans themselves, and of course with the help of the Jewish church, and they all worshipped Saturn back at the time, the Jewish church and the Romans both. And by them crucifying Jesus on the cross, they were all mocking our true God for destroying their ancient civilizations who worshipped Saturn. A crucial thing to notice as well is how quickly the Roman Empire fell after the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And this alone, guys, points to Jesus Christ being the truth and the way. The pagan god of Saturn is in fact Satan in disguise. The more and more I do research, the more and more I study ancient gods, I realize that our God, Jesus Christ, is the only way. He's the only true God. Now, let's take a closer inspection at Christmas, or what the elite call Jesus Christ's birthday, which is also a great mockery onto our Lord and a great deception to get the masses to worship Saturn. As you might remember, I told you in the very beginning of this video that December 25th is not Jesus Christ's actual birthday. So then you might be asking yourself, then why do we even celebrate Christmas on December 25th? Where did this come from? Well, Christmas actually stemmed from the Roman pagan festival called Saturnalia. Saturnalia, or the worship of Saturn, actually became one of the most popular Roman festivals of its time. It mischief and the reversal of social roles and norms, in which the slaves and masters switched places. Saturnalia was introduced around 217 BC to raise citizen morale after a crushing military defeat at the hands of the Carthaginians. And Saturnalia celebrations included a school and work holiday, the making and giving of small presents, and a special market where people could shop for the holidays. Saturnalia was a time to eat, drink, and be merry. Doesn't that sound all too familiar? It was originally celebrated for a day on December 17th, but as Saturnalia's popularity grew, it became a week-long extravaganza ending on the 25th of December. And it was continued to be celebrated long and long after Jesus Christ's death.
Do you remember how I said there seems to be water between us and the planets and stars that we look at? If you look, there seems to be a ceiling. Look at Sir Richard Branson and his space company, where they keep crashing these craft into some kind of ceiling. They reach, I think the limit is like almost 375, 400 miles above the surface of the Earth, and no one has gone beyond that. There's another video channel called ODD, or Odd Reality. And he's got a video about 5 times that the government has told us we've never gone beyond low Earth orbit. And this isn't only for our country and NASA, but it goes for every country with a space program, because they all worship Saturn at their highest elite levels. But I wanted to show you this. This is raw footage of the star Vega. And is mentioned here, it seems to look like water, which I've already said in this video. Now watch this. Do you see how the firmament in space is not at all what they've told us for the last 400 years? Save your money and buy a super powerful telescope. To me, that looks like the surface of a swimming pool's water when you lay on the bottom of the pool and look up. Now you're getting into my wheelhouse: frequency and vibration, music, acoustic, resonance of water, and all. This is what I really dig. And it goes with neuromodulation. Sirius is the dog star. These quote-unquote stars or luminaries we see beyond the waters are not even a million miles away.
Well, just the other day, the new trailer for Alice Through the Looking Glass came out. As per usual, it's full of the typical Luciferian propaganda. So let's firstly take a look at the subliminal meaning behind the prospect of Alice in Wonderland.
Come back home to Wonderland and turn back the hands of time.
The one that fell from heaven like lightning, the lightning bolt, like the symbol of kiss, and several religions and corporations use the lightning bolt, which Lucifer fell from heaven, as it were, like lightning. But he's also said to be a bi-hermaphrodite type being, half man, half woman. Maybe he's also Sophia, Lucifer, Sophia. Sophistry.
In our darkest hour, before my final rhyme, we will come back home to Wonderland and turn back the hands of time.
Of course, I might add, when you're talking about the symbology of Alice in Wonderland and the Antichrist beast system, of course you're going to have the actor Johnny Depp, who is outwardly a Satanist.
In danger.
Young lady, your time is up. This cannot be good.
Hello, Alice.
Did you know that the royal families of Europe, and especially the royals of Britain, consider themselves to be the descendants of Jesus Christ through the Davidic bloodline directly, knowing that he survived the crucifixion and perhaps even married Mary of Magdala, and even had children? He went to France or India or both, and I just made a video about this last week. All right, let me show you. Let's look at the lineage. If you look at the royal shield of the royal family of Britain and you see the unicorn and the lion with the chains on either side of the shield, and you look under the lion's paw, the lion represents the bloodline, the Merovingian bloodline, which is supposed to be the bloodline of Jesus Christ, which means he had an intimate relationship with Mary. And that's what they believe. So what is church? Let's start this up.
cut.
That looks exactly to me like the good old black sun, okay? The same old, same old. And we were looking at this yesterday, and I showed you how they actually refer to these as dark stars, okay? That is a literal alternative term for these because of the mass of 1,000,000 times our sun that is in the center of this. So they claim, okay? This is what they tell us, okay? So they reveal this first picture of it, and it looks just strikingly like...
I just wanted to interject here. Who sang the song Black Hole Sun? A man that was born on the same day as me. We would be the same age if he were still alive. I always loved his voice, and I tried to sing like him when I'd practice. And I do not believe that he offed himself in a bathroom from a doorknob with an elastic cord. Somebody got to him. But that's because he was making a movie. Look up the movie that he and Linkin Park were making together. I'm not going to say anything else about it. But that's what this is about. The black hole sun is Saturn. You might ask yourself, hey, Chris was a great guy. Why would he be singing about the black hole sun and have known this stuff? And it goes back to the fact when people say, if you're a musician and you want to get a recording contract and you want your music to go anywhere, if you want your albums to sell, and if you want an A&R man and a manager and a handler that will get your band to go somewhere, and if you want to be promoted in all of the venues that are run by these Saturnians, you have to swear in. You blood in and you blood out. Some people don't even believe in it, and they blood in anyway because they do whatever they have to get their career started. They just tell their handlers, tell me what I got to do. I just want to be famous, or I just want my songs out there, or I just want to get in the industry. So they sign a contract, and then they do other things. All of them. You know what happens if they don't? You have a one-hit wonder. That's why you have so many one-hit wonders. And look at some of the biggest stars today that have mediocre music, and some of your one-hit wonders are some of the best musicians you've ever heard in your life. They chose not to join. And the ones who did become the biggest stars. Even though, look at the girl who's promoting an album this week that's all over the ads on YouTube right now. The blonde. With her mediocre music. Why? Because she joined. Actually, when Kanye disgraced her and took the microphone, that was her disgracing ritual. That's just like when they, what do they call it? When they roast somebody. They roast a celebrity. And that's part of a ritual. You have to be defamed in front of all of your adorers and admirers and fans. And it's all part of a ritual. And then 5 minutes later, she comes out and gets an award presented by Beyonce, who's wearing a red dress. It's all ritualistic. Just like the kiss with Madonna and Britney in black and white. Just like passing the torch from Jay Leno to Jimmy Fallon, if you go back and look at that, and the speech that Jimmy read. You know, I noticed all this live when it was happening back then. All right, I'm going to stop that here. Okay, now here comes David Bowie. Let's look at the name of his last album.
Okay, Black Hole Sun. Another very famous entertainer who died in 2016 named David Bowie. His last record was called Black Star. Okay, very interesting album cover there. And this is all Enochian magic. That's what it is. And he died at the age of 69, just 2 days after the release of this album. And if you were to look into this, it would make you vomit because, I mean, there was a video attached to this album of his called Black Star. And if you look at this, man, it is some of the most unbelievably evil, in-your-face, blasphemous garbage that you could ever watch.
Number 10.
First, some context. In Mayan culture, the black sun represents the Osirian butterfly that devours people during the solar eclipse. Also in ancient Egypt, the black sun represents the hidden sun or invisible sun. That is the secret order behind the visible. It means a number of things depending on where in the world you are, and of course it has many meanings. Number 9, the most recent use of the black sun is seen in none other place than the Nazi swastika. Many believe the symbol was co-opted from the 4 Vedas in Hindu religion, but although that may be so, the meaning behind it has nothing to do with Hinduism.
All right, this one is huge, folks. It's huge. And I knew about this when he went there and looked at the mural himself in the lobby of Bank America on TV when it was on mainstream news. I knew what he was doing. I knew why he was there. I knew about the eclipse and the painting. And I knew it represents him. Watch this. This is our leader.
At least within the United States. Number 3, this mural is famous. It's a mural from the Bank of America. Now look at the black sun in the sky. Do you see that large black sun rising? That's right, this is the exact same black sun that is projected in Nazi occult practices. Now I'm not saying this is a hidden Nazi swastika. What I'm saying is it stands for the occult symbol that the Nazi swastika had on the outside. This is in fact the hidden secret symbol behind the front Nazi swastika. But there is more to this artwork than we see on the surface. As with all occult symbolism, something else is hidden. Number 2, what happens if we mirror this artwork? Take a look. We get this. This is on the surface a reference to Masonic symbolism, but it is fundamentally different. Now, of course, there are references here with Masonic symbolism. The checkered floor, for example, the fact that Jacob's ladder is on the left-hand side, the sun and moon on the pillars. But as you can see, even with me repeating this, all those things are fundamentally different. For instance, the checkered floor is not black and white, it's red and white. There's not one sun. In fact, there's no sun. There's only a black sun, and now there's 2 of them. Jacob's ladder has also been replaced by a staircase. So what does this mean? Well, this means that this is a type of corrupted symbolism from Masonic traditions that's been changed somehow. From what root system it originally came from, I just don't know.
Guys, I don't remember what the date was, but if you go back and you look to the presidential campaign for who is our president right now, he actually flew to the Bank of America where this mural is on the wall in the lobby by the elevators, and he made a stop on mainstream media where the media followed him in there, and it was on the news that night that he stopped by the Bank of America to check out this mural and then flew off to his next destination for his speeches, for his next stump speech. Why did he stop by and look at this mural? Think about it, folks. There is a lot more going on than you think there is. If you're doubting anything, wake up. Now, folks, we're going to talk about the Denver airport. Do you know Denver is the mile-high city? Do you know that the earth is going to be consumed by a flood, and most of the population on earth? The sea levels of the ocean will go up approximately 400 feet. Look up the future Navy maps of our government. The future Navy maps, just Google it. Water will rise 400 feet. I don't know what's going to cause that rise. It could be a melting. It could be some Blu-ray technology they found to instantly melt ice in Antarctica or something like that. There's the ice over there on Antarctica is 2 miles thick in depth. If the sea levels, if they melted everything, the sea levels would go up 400 feet. If they go up 400 feet, Britain will disappear and the royal family will move to Colorado. And I'm not kidding, that is the plan, and that's what this airport is telling you. Now let's watch it. I'm just skipping ahead over everything I've learned for years and just laying it on you. Bah, here we go.
I'm well aware that the cube itself is a fundamental component of Masonic tradition. However, this I don't think is a cube. I think it has a completely different meaning. It is in fact a type of prism or glass box. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, number 1, the strangest airport in the world is none other than Denver Airport. And I know a lot of you are aware of Denver Airport, but just bear with me a moment and see how this connects. Denver Airport is really at the heart of a lot of conspiracy theories, since it went billions of dollars over budget and has what can only be described as one of the horsemen of the apocalypse, minus its rider standing out front. It has long been rumored to be a massive underground bunker of some kind that is under the airport, a type of hideaway for the elites. There is a plaque at the front that states it's a gift from the New World Airport Commission, of all things. But in order to reference the prior, we're going to have to
New
look
World
at the
Airport
murals.
Commission doesn't
These are
exist
the very strange murals
today
that
yet.
were at Denver Airport. They depict a cataclysmic event in the future, at which point many people die. Then there is a period of, I guess, rebirth after the disaster. But I want you to look at the glass prisms. They feature repeatedly. That is around animals and other things, as noted prior in the Bank of America mural. But what connections are there with the Bank of America mural, really, apart from this being a very ominous mural in the Denver Airport? And of course the Mayan symbolism here, which also note the Black Sun reference, because the Black Sun is a part of every Mayan tradition. Well, there's this. There's the Black Sun itself, which is on the floor of the airport, a huge black sun inlaid into the floor of the airport itself, and you can even see the rotations of the different planets around the black sun. If you look closely, you can even see the slight glow of yellow light around the black sun. That is the halo. This is because this is the black sun that's eclipsing the actual sun. So okay, you might say, there's a black sun, and it says New World Order, and there's some other strange things, and the airport itself kinda looks like a SWAT sticker. Also note this black sun, which is inlaid into the bottom of the Hoover Dam. So these three examples are just a few examples, really, of what's out there. I guess...
Folks, did he just say that the black sun symbol is on the bottom of the Hoover Dam? He didn't show where and how, and I did not know that. But I'm going to tell you something that I figured out a few years ago. The Hoover Dam is going to be sabotaged and break, and it's going to cause water to rush forth. Madonna depicted it in her concert when she stood with her legs spread over a model that, if you look at it, is the same shape as the Hoover Dam. And she put her crotch over it as if the waters were rushing forth out of the Whore of Babylon, and the Hoover Dam breaks. Watch the Hoover Dam. I'm not prophesying. This is just putting together epiphanies from all the knowledge that's out there, all the pictures, all the information that's available on the internet. But I'm going to tell you, the Hoover Dam is the next huge target. It's going to go, just like Twin Towers. The Hoover Dam. Mark my word. The Hoover Dam. All right? All right, here's something now. Watch this.
And there's some other strange things. And the airport itself kinda looks like a SWAT sticker. Also note this black sun, which is inlaid into the bottom of the Hoover Dam. So these three examples are just a few examples, really, of what's out there. I guess my overarching theory is that the black sun is closely related to Satanism and a type of corrupted form of Freemasonry. There definitely seems to be something very strange happening here. Something weird that has a Nazi connection to World War II and Satanism. So what's going on? These are the symbols of a very powerful organization. A group that's so powerful that they can put their iconography all around an airport that costs billions of dollars. They've got it in the Hoover Dam. They've got it in the Bank of America. And I would guess there's many places where they've got this type of symbolism, which proves that they have a strong hold and position and power. But at the end of the day, guys, we'll just have to decide for yourselves what to believe. I am, of course, just bringing the breadcrumbs I find, trying to connect the dots.
Cymatics. That's called cymatics. Forms produced by sound frequency. Oh, here you go. Here, I'm finding it. All right, folks, if you made it this far, we're going to end this video with the topic of flat Earth, whether you like it, believe it or not. Look at these stars. This is how the sky rotates above the plane, mundane, every night when you look up. And the very center is the pole star. Polaris, it's the pole star, all right? The sky goes around the pole star. Now, I want to tell you, if the sun is traveling at 66 million miles an hour through an Oort cloud through the Milky Way galaxy, and the Earth is spiraling around it behind it, and we're all traveling on this cosmic rocket going millions of miles an hour through Oort clouds every second, then how come that pole star hasn't moved since recorded time? How come all of the constellations, when you look at Leo, it still looks like a lion? When you look at who's the bow shooter? I'm forgetting. Orion. When you look at Capella, the chapel, that little constellation, they haven't changed an angle, origin, or anything. They haven't mutated into something. You know, have you ever seen those videos where people get a tattoo on their lower back, and as they get older, it sinks into their crack and changes into some other word? And it's ugly. Why hasn't the sky done that? In 11 to 13,000 years, even up to 200,000 years, if we go back that far in portions of our origin, why hasn't the image of the luminaries in the sky above us that we call stars and their relationship and location with respect to each other, why haven't they changed in perspective? You know, if you're driving on a freeway and you pass a landmark, you're going to see one side of the landmark. When you're in front of it, you're going to see the front of it, and when you pass it, you're going to see the other side if you look, but you have to look back. Why don't we have to do that with any of the constellations? And we're traveling millions of miles across, allegedly, a Milky Way, and now we've even passed the ecliptic, which is across the dark rift, and now we're on the other side of the mirror, so to speak, and we should look up into the sky and see everything from a different perspective. The shapes of the stars should be different. We should have to rename all of the constellations according to what we see now, but it never, ever, ever changes. That's because we're fixed and motionless on a plane, and those stars spin around above us around that pole star right in the center of this picture right here in this video. There's the pole star. Now watch it. Everything spins around it, and it spins above the plane, and we call them stars, and they're just luminaries. They might be interdimensional, but they're not at all as far away as 1,000,000 miles at all. Everything is much closer than you think it is. Now watch as I restart it.
The wheels with the eyes, the stars, the hosts of heaven, God's creation, the ones, each star has its name, as it says in the scripture. God says, I have named them all. These are the eyes. These are the eyes on the wheels. Our stars.
I don't agree with that. He's talking about Ezekiel's wheels. Those were transverse active toroids, and I have a video about that I just made last week. There's the dark rift.
I just can't help but to quote from Isaiah 40:26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number.
All right, folks, this is the end. This is a beautiful song with some lyrics about flat Earth, and it's going to show you flat Earth. You ready? Great singing, by the way. Let me start it for you.
Hello, it's me. You know when indoctrination started while we were still naive. Programming our beliefs. And that inertia is the reason we don't feel the earth spinning. Hello, can you hear me? Did you ever stop to question the confession of gravity as a theory? Funny thing, for so long can be explain with buoyancy and density. The sun is closer than what they've told us, not 90 million miles away. Hello from the inside. I'm here to tell you not to lie, and we'll never was a space probe, and those planets you love so. A wandering stars, Operation Fishbowl. There never was a South Pole. We're surrounded by walls of ice, and we clearly live inside of a glass door. Hello, how are you?
This is hard to
Did
watch
you
from
get a chance to join Flight Earth and Globe discussion crew to discover all the truth? How the sun, the moon, the stars are all revolving around you. There's no more secret. The earth is stationary, it is fixed, unmovable. Hello from the brighter side. They fooled you with that CGI. Sending rockets into the sea.
They ditched them in the sea. They're not in an ISS. Astronauts have never gone up in a rocket. It's too dangerous. I can't listen to Adele, by the way. My ex-fiance sang that as her favorite karaoke tune. Oh, Shaking My Head Productions. It's awesome. Go check out the link I'm going to put below and watch this. If you ever wondered when anyone, you might believe all of this video all the way up to the end and go, no, but I'm not there with Flat Earth yet. And a lot of people who know about Saturnalia and the black hole sun and the black cube, they don't believe in Flat Earth, but they just haven't gotten there yet. Trust me, you'll get there. It's flat. And if you want to, and people say, why? Why would they fake it? Well, go back and watch this entire video again. And do you know that you have to be a high priest of certain orders? I know a director of the Johnson Space Center, and I looked up his name and I found his robes from the Vatican. You have to be a Saturnian high priest of an order to be in the Defense Department over any station or key operation of NASA. Everything's segmented. My father worked there at Mission Control. My stepfather worked there since they bought the property here in Houston. Nobody knew what anybody else was doing. Everybody had their own job, and they all were just so happy to be part of going to the moon and working in space that they never stopped to think about how it worked. All right, you know, when they say, well, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know blah, blah, blah. To me, that's an insult. If you call somebody a rocket scientist, to me, and I'm sorry if you happen to work for NASA and you are a rocket scientist, it's no big deal. It just means you learned what to regurgitate in your programs at school, and on your job that you're working on, you haven't seen the big picture of what's going on. But it's not your fault. That's how it works. That's the magic. It's the magic of Disney. Anyway, thank you for coming to Plain Mundane Show. I hope you enjoyed this review of Shaking My Head production, his awesome production. And you have a great day. Bye.